Hello, everyone. This is Darcinovia here. This is a serious situation, and I know I already talked about it in a shorter video, but I feel like I should be talking about this on a stream. Now, for those of you who don't know, what happened? Dr. Abraham Weizfeld was arrested for crimes of mischief. What was his crime, though? What did he do wrong, in quotations? Because as far as I'm concerned, rebelling against evil, against fascism, Zionism, that's not anything but good. You don't resistance is never not justified. And the kind of resistance he did was simply saying, like, vandalism, if you want to call it that. Free Palestine. That's it. That's it. That's it. This is why he's arrested, but that's not the main reason why. The parole agreement was he couldn't go to the Jewish Community Center. Now, there's those who live in Canada that can talk more about this than I could. They know more than I do, simply because they live in Canada. They know more. They know far more. So if I get any facts wrong, it's because I don't live in Canada, and as of this recording, it just happened. So not all the facts have come out yet. You can go on Jason Unruh's channel. There is there's video evidence of him getting arrested. They are afraid. Yes, sub. They are afraid. The Zionists are afraid. Dr. Weizfeld is a threat. This goes to show you not even a second-generation Holocaust survivor is safe from persecution. Well, oh God, this dickhead again. Sorry. Nothing. I'm just talking about Dr. Weizfeld. If you want more information, or at least you want the short version, Dr. Weizfeld was arrested for crimes of mischief. Mischief, according to the Zionist, would be graffiti or vandalism, whatever you want to call it, just writing Free Palestine. Now, Palestine has a lot to do with this. Now, if a second-generation Holocaust survivor can't even go to the Jewish Community Center, think about that. A second-generation Holocaust survivor who's Jewish can't go there without being arrested. Now, he was expecting this to happen. He was prepared for this to happen. Now, I can't speak what can be done because I'm in the United States. The only thing I can do is raise awareness. And the only way I have a mic, I have a shitty computer, and I'm just going to talk about it because it needs to be discussed. This cannot be buried. The mainstream media is certainly not going to cover this. The mainstream media wants to stay away from this. And you know what? Shame on democracy now and any other so-called independent news stations that are supposedly against the mainstream for not covering this. Shame on them. The Palestinian struggle is like one of the most important struggles of our time, and Dr. Abraham Weizfeld is a huge part of that struggle. He's been to Palestine. He's been shot. The footage of it exists. He is what you would call a real anti-imperialist. He has a whole life of activism. But because he's Jewish, because he isn't a Zionist, because he refuses to assimilate to Zionism, he's considered a threat. Yes, it is a lie. And this goes to prove just how scared, it goes to show just how scared, okay, this person's a fascist. This goes to show you just how scared the Zionists are of Jews that are actually anti-Zionist, they're anti-imperialists, that don't support the state of Israel. This is proof. Now, I'm not going to speak of authority. I don't live in Canada. I don't have as much knowledge as someone like Jason Unruh would, because I don't live in Canada, and he would understand the inner workings, what's going on there, better than I could. I am just doing the best I can with what I have. And I'll talk about it more as there's updates about it. Now, what can you do, those who are watching this video? Spread this video. Spread the other videos that have anything to do with Dr. Weizfeld. Any videos that pop up. Anything that Jason Unruh does. Or anybody else that talks about this. Spread the word. Don't do nothing. Spread the word. Spread it on Twitter. Spread it on Facebook. Whatever platform you're on. Don't just keep it on YouTube. Spread it everywhere. The mainstream media doesn't want to cover this. It's up to us to spread the message. It's up to us to expose it. Dr. Weizfeld needs our help. He needs our solidarity. And the best way to do that is to spread the word. Yes, the mainstream media is very powerful, but if there's anything we have learned in the past 20 years, the mainstream media, its hold is not absolute. It is possible to actually help people like Weizfeld, despite the mainstream media's best efforts to suppress this. Because if they were to report on this, then that would require the mainstream media to actually report on what Israel's doing to the Palestinians. And they can't do that because the mainstream media has to be friendly with Israel. It has to basically give Israel positive press. And anything that talks about Weizfeld would actually be negative press on Israel. There's just no way they could talk about Weizfeld without making them look bad. And I think this whole shit with Weizfeld is proof that Canada is as fascist as America. That the Zionists do have a strong hold in Canada. Now, I don't know how strong, because I don't live in Canada. I don't know Canada in terms of the politics and how it works. That's not a question I can answer any of you. If you ask me, I don't know. Again, Jason Unruh, who lives in Canada, knows more than I. This is serious. This is a really serious situation, and dangerous too. Because this is just proof they can get any of us if we speak truth to power. Even doing small things like just saying free Palestine, depending on where you live, can get you arrested. Jews aren't safe from this. Now, I'm not going to speak of authority. I'm not Jewish, so I don't pretend to know what they're thinking. I will not pretend to know, because I don't know. I can only speak from what I've seen. The news that I did not receive this news, by the way, by watching Jason Unruh's video. I have not been really on YouTube that much since Friday. My reasoning, well, I'm not going to get into that. I got my information from a friend that I talked to. And I did a short video because I wasn't at the house at the time, just to at least get it out there. And I'm just doing another stream to show my solidarity to Weizfeld. Oh, yes, he does. Benjamin Netanyahu is a fucking fascist. He's a piece of shit. Anyone that actually denies that he isn't a genocidal imperialist either doesn't care, isn't paying attention, or a combination of both. Israel has been discredited. This cannot be denied. Israel has lost. With all the footage that exists on social media of the IDF shooting Palestinians, stories coming out every day, it seems like, of Palestinian kids being murdered or other unarmed people getting murdered, people having their houses demolished. Israel is losing the PR war, and they're not pretending anymore. What they're doing isn't colonialism, isn't a form of genocide. Just opposing Israel's genocide is a crime. And if it's considered unlawful to oppose a genocidal state like Israel, you know what? That is the sign that that country isn't long for this world. Israel's days are numbered. You don't do what you do for as long as Israel has and not expect blowback. The supporters of Zionism are getting desperate and scared. That's why they're attacking someone like Weizfeld. He's a threat. Not only is he a Jew who doesn't support Israel, this also shows that Holocaust survivors are not safe from Zionists. Yes, anti-Zionism is on the rise. Though I'm not gonna say this. Don't really want to talk about it. But unfortunately, there is someone that we have not been paying attention to, which is a mistake, who is actually using anti-Zionism to push anti-Semitism. Now, I mistakenly ignored Be Liberal. And I bring up Be Liberal, it has a lot to do with this situation because anti-Zionism is being weaponized by anti-Semites. And they're using anti-Zionism to mask their own anti-Semitism. Be Liberal. I'll talk in depth at a different time. This is not about him. B Level is basically what his name is. I just call him Be Liberal. If you want to know, I'll explain it later. B Level is a good example of anti-Zionism and how it's using anti-Zionism to push anti-Semitism. Now, if rather than talk about it, it's better that I show you. I don't even want to hear his voice, but I feel like it is necessary to actually expose this. I've watched it earlier and I was disgusted. I really was disgusted with I was like, what the fuck did I watch? Like Dialectics Unhinged is what they're called now. So just give me a bit. I'm gonna have to like find it, but in a bit. But I will find it and I will show you what I'm talking about because I feel like just speaking about it isn't going to actually do it justice. I have to actually show proof that B Level actually did this. So I'll be right back just to make sure that I can find it. Let's see. Just give me a second. All right. Yeah, Dialectics Unhinged. Dialectics Unhinged is so cringe. It really is cringe. It's like how the it's like what kind, who the hell would call themselves Dialectics Unhinged? It's like, is this a joke? Is this seriously? Is this a joke? It's like it's just freaking funny. But again, this video isn't supposed to be funny because I'm being serious. What I'm talking about, considering the fact that we're dealing with like fascism and its like rise and like they're pushing fascism too. Like dialect, like I got just gonna show people so they know exposed. Actually, since those of you who don't know, Now this, I might as well just show people what the current channel looks like. Let's see, share screen. All right. Now, some people, hold on. First, actually, hold on. First, I got to make sure this is, I got to make sure the sound is on, because I don't want basically to have make myself look like a fool and not have it. Okay, share audio. All right. Because I feel like just talking about it is not going to do it justice. Now, before we get to the actual video, look at that thumbnail for this video. Look at it. Do you not see something wrong? Now, if you could see it, there's anti-Semitism in that thumbnail. The Zionist flag next to something that looks like a symbol of Judaism. Now, why is this important? Because you have so-called anti-imperialists that are pushing anti-Semitism by pushing anti-Zionism. And anti-Zionism is not an anti-Semitic position, but people like Be Liberal are actually making it so it's a distinction without a difference. This is why combating people like Be Level is necessary. And me not doing that, it was a form of liberalism. He's supposed to represent communism, so-called communism, yet this motherfucker is actually pushing anti-Semitism, but with anti-Zionism. And this is not off topic with Dr. Weizfeld, because Dr. Weizfeld is an actual anti-Zionist and he isn't an anti-Semite, which is slander on Dr. Weizfeld from the freaking fascist state of Canada, because he's not a fucking anti-Semite. If you hear him speak, how defensive he gets over his religion. Oh, he is an anti-Semite. He's not even a socialist. He's a fascist. Now, some of you are probably going to like groan when you hear B-Level's voice. I can't stand his voice. Wait, what the fuck? Oh my god. Oh my god. Oh god. Oh shit. Oh my god. Oh my god. Oh my fucking god. Holy shit. He's like talking about Palestine. Fucking opportunist piece of shit. Okay, this is a failure on my part. I should have paid more attention to this fucker. Holy shit. Okay. Let it actually get to the crux of what I'm talking about.
So today it is the
You might cringe hearing his voice.
9/11 anniversary.
Hold on. I gotta make. There's no sound on my end, so I gotta make sure. All right. Make sure. Yes. Sorry, guys. Don't want to look like a fool. All right. Let's get started.
So today it is the 9/11 anniversary, 22 years ago, and I just wanted to give a quick update on the content because 2 years.
Oh my god, he sounds so snobby. Fuck.
Ago, we did a 20th anniversary 9/11 podcast with Ramiro, Flame of Liberation, Professor Danny Shah. It was a pretty good episode for the time, especially I think where I was at politically. And I think it still holds up for doing a general analysis of U.S. foreign policy following the 9/11 attacks and what have you. But one of the, I think, most important comments that we got at the time was, what about the deeper connections with Zionism?
Deeper connections. Okay, guys, you hear that? You hear that? Listen very carefully. The anti-Semitism has already started. You know you have an anti-Semite when you somehow connect 9/11 truth with the Jew. Yes, this is an anti-Semitic way of framing, basically being an anti-Zionist.
which wasn't covered too extensively at all. We did mention Israel and Mossad a little bit, but it wasn't really extensively covered at the time in that podcast. And I think it could have been done more in depth. So, here we got pulled up a great little summary by Basira Press. Shout out to Ali Salam and all the writers there. Reasons not to believe the official story of 9/11. Israeli most.
Okay. A common anti-Semitic trope is the dancing's Israelis. Now, I hate Israel and I despise Israelis, but this is bullshit. This discredits 9/11 truth just by mentioning this.
Mossad agents arrested on that day in connection to the attack, one group being caught filming and celebrating, another group caught with a van of explosives near the George Washington Bridge. Powerful Zionists like Larry Silverstein owned the building. He skipped his daily breakfast in the towers on that day due to a quote-unquote dermatologist appointment. Israeli top official Ehud Olmert was in NYC on the 10th of September 2001. The fact that it was a Jewish holiday, Tisha B'Av, falls on the 9th.
Did you hear that? He said the word Jewish. Did you hear that? Did you fucking hear that?
Day of the 11th Hebrew month, which marks the destruction of both temples. Very interesting there. And the bit on Larry Silverstein, Ramiro did cover that with frank analysis last year on the 9/11 podcast they did 2022. They kind of went deeper on some of the stuff that we kind of didn't cover as much or didn't know about maybe in the episode we did 2 years ago. The George Bush administration, Beltway neoconservatives, and the deep state establishment were all working closely with the Zionists starting this attack.
That is not what happened, you fucking dumb shit. You literally, of course, he's doing this deliberately. There is literally information that George Bush was informed that it was going to happen, and he did nothing. This is bullshit. This is literal bullshit. And I'm an anti-Zionist. He's literally using a freaking anti-Zionism to push anti-Semitism. This snobby piece of shit.
NORAD drills happening on the same exact day. The third building, World Trade Center 7, fell symmetrically at free fall speed without a plane hitting it and with only minor office fires. Firefighters and other...
What makes this really frustrating and pisses me off is he's mixing truth with facts. Anybody that knows anything about 9/11 truth and heard various versions, this is fucking displays anti-Semitic tropes like the Jew had something to do with 9/11 when no, it was the Saudis. All the hijackers, majority of them come from Saudi Arabia. You can look up these facts easily. But then again, Be Liberal is placating to an anti-Semitic audience. People like himself.
Credible witnesses reporting explosions. Thousands of architects, engineers, metallurgists, and other scientific professionals calling for a new investigation or stating outright that it was a controlled demolition. And lastly, family members, victims such as Bobby McIlvain or Dan Wallace, rest in peace, calling for truth about 9/11. So always go deeper and question the official narrative coming from the U.S. government
and people like you are basically making legitimate 9/11 truth look fucking crazy and insane because you're pushing this anti-Semitic bullshit. You see, this is the reason why ignoring B-level was a mistake. Ignoring B-level was a mistake. Allowing this sort of shit to be said unchallenged, especially someone that claims to be a Marxist, this is a mistake. It was a mistake ignoring B-level.
Associated media. And I think over time we can definitely do some more deep dives, maybe even do a react to some 9/11 documentaries, connecting things to Zionism.
Zionism. What is he actually referring to anti-Zionism as in Israel's colonialist project in Palestine, or is he referring to something else? I'll let you decide. I think we all know what he's really talking about.
9/11 content over time. because it's very important for understanding the foreign policy. And what I noticed too, particularly, is that in the 2000s, if anyone remember, I was a kid growing up in the 2000s. I was 5 when 9/11 happened, but the years after, I distinctly remember 9/11 being pushed very hard to push for war in the Middle East slash Western Asia. And now these days, we don't really hear 9/11 invoked very much, save from quote unquote conspiracy theorists. And what
Yeah. This is literally an anti-Semitic conspiracy theory you're pushing. Oh my God. This is really angering me just watching this.
I find interesting is I think in the 2000s, they were really trying to put 9/11 on the Muslims as opposed to it actually being on the Zionist.
Oh God. No, 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 no. For the love of God, no. They were doing that. They were blaming it on Muslims as a propaganda piece. So they can use them as a scapegoat. It was an excuse to push the Patriot Act. 9/11 was an excuse to push all these things that the US government were itching to push, along with any country that's affiliated with the United States. The Patriot Act, 9/11 was the perfect opportunity to do so. They use Muslims as a way to scare people, just like the Nazi did for the Jews, and just like America did for the communists. It's all propaganda. That's what it was used for. But of course, I wouldn't expect an anti-Semitic dipshit like B-level, to be honest.
And I think at the time, maybe there's less information or it was more difficult to get the truth out, save some like documentaries like the Zeitgeist one that deep on the internet. But
Okay, anti-Zionism is not anti-Semitic, but the way B-liberal is framing it in the video is. Because the way anti-Semites, when they talk about Zionism, they're not actually talking about it in the same context as a leftist or a Jewish person talk about anti-Zionism. Example, Dr. Abraham Weizfeld, which is what this stream is titled after. When he talks about anti-Zionism, he's referring to Israel and its colonialist project. That is what the difference is. When neo-Nazis like B-level, yeah, I will call him a neo-Nazi. When he talks about anti-Zionism, he's actually talking about the Jew. And it's dangerous when you have people like B-level pushing anti-Zionism because they're actually muddying the waters to make it difficult to be an anti-Zionist. Because if everyone is basically affiliated with being an anti-Semite, that makes it more difficult to show solidarity to Palestinians because of dipshits like this who are basically affiliated with everyone else. This is wrecker behavior. I don't know. This is freaking, oh God. Let's just continue.
now there's so much truth, there's so much accessibility to finding truth. Even though the internet's very murky with all the information out there, there's still a lot of outlets to find the truth around this event. So I think
What truth? You're literally this video is full of nothing but anti-Semitic lies. What about the truth about the hijackers, majority of them coming from Saudi Arabia? Or how about the United States government knew about it but did nothing? What about that? Oh, but wait, because B-level is a pan-Americanist and America can't do anything, do no wrong, so you have to blame anybody but America for anything that happens. I can't believe I used to fucking co-host with this piece of shit. I can't believe this. This disgusts me. Thank God you changed the name to B-level, and thank you for removing the avatar too. Thank you. Now Ewoks Unhinged can officially rest in peace. This is a disgrace.
I think the media, much like the Epstein suicided thing, they're trying to really just make people forget that this even happened, which to me is incredible. If you were alive when 9/11 happened, even me as like a 5-year-old kid, I remember.
I'm actually the thing is I'm actually reacting and responding to B-level's video as I'm like doing this. don't do this to me. Okay, let's just wait for this. My computer is acting up again. Whatever. It is what it is. It will just give it some time to load. Yeah, of course, my computer is a piece of shit. All right. Let's just do. Okay, let's make it.
Remember that day distinctly. It's crazy to think that this is being pushed out of the recent historical memory, or something that people think actively about and how it affects U.S. foreign policy. So 9/11, it's really important to still remember. It's so important to remember on this day because of how everything connects in the warmongering, in the imperialism, in the Zionism. So yeah, remember.
Oh yeah, you cannot resist saying, using the anti-Semitic dog whistle. Can't resist doing that.
And keep searching for truth.
Keep searching for truth. What truth? What truth? What truth are you talking about? I wonder what you're really referring to. I don't need to watch the rest of it. Now, the next video, oh God. Let's see what Be Liberal is doing for this,
right, and
for this one. How? Oh God, what is this shit? What is this shit? I'm not going to suffer through this. So let's just speed this shit up.
they're diverting it. So because right now the biggest threat to Anglo-Zionist imperialism is a revolutionary anti-imperialist Islam, the true anti-imperialist socialism of, for example, places like Nicaragua and Venezuela and Cuba, and then you have also, and obviously like Iran, China, Russia. That is the true resistance, but in particular, Iran. Iran is such a big threat to this order because not only is Iran, promoting the family, promoting traditional values, upholding and respect.
What the fuck? What? Tradition. Oh God. It's so much worse. Holy shit.
Women and upholding God's law, but it's also anti-imperialist. It's very political, right? It's not like the Wahhabis or the Takfiris who are saying all these things, but then they're worshiping Prada and Gucci, and they have, you go to, that's why I love the expression that the Iranians say, we're gonna eventually liberate Mecca.
What does this have to do with Palestine?
From the people who are holding it hostage. Islam, the real revolutionary Islam, is the biggest threat to this world order because it promotes simplicity and being humble and living a good, true family life. And Iran is a big target, and that's why they're attacking Iran and Islam from multiple angles. One of them is Andrew Tate, right? A few Mossad people are like, hey,
Andrew Tate. Wait, you are defending Andrew fucking Tate. You gotta be fucking kidding me. This is your anti-imperialist, folks. Defending a rapist. What the fuck?
This Andrew Tate guy, he should become a Muslim, right? Because that's one of our biggest competitors.
Right.
To kind of like put a wet towel, a wet blanket on that. Like, oh, see, look, this is what happens.
And you know what? Fuck you, Ramima. Fuck you, Riem. Oh, whatever. Riem. Whatever his name is. Fuck you for calling yourself a third worldist. You're not a third worldist, you fucking liar.
Become a Muslim, right? That's one angle. And then you have also the infiltration, because one of the biggest struggles right now in the Islamic world, obviously, is the liberation of Palestine. Especially right now, we're at a very critical juncture. It's ramping up, and Palestine is a big issue right now.
How dare you bring up Palestine and bring up Andrew Tate in the same video, you fucking piece of shit? How dare you? How dare you bring up Andrew Tate, a pedophile and a rapist? How fucking dare you? You sicken me, B-level. This is the kind of people that you'll fucking simp for. You disgust me.
And a lot of imperialists know that and have known that for a while. And so within the First World Left, you have this attempt by certain Zionists who will try to divide the Palestinians.
Zionists. Oh my God. They're actually referring to the Jew. Again, this is another example of using anti-Zionism to push anti-Semitism. They're using it in a different context. This is really fucking angering me now.
Solidarity movement from Iran. They'll try to be pro-Palestine and then the main group.
You opportunists. What does this have to do with Palestine? Nothing. You're just using this as an excuse to push reactionary bullshit.
The groups that are funding a lot of the Palestine from day one Iran and the Islamic Revolution has always been on the side of Palestine from day one, no questions asked, always. And even to this day, a lot of the groups, Islamic Jihad, the Lion's Den, the Janine Brigades, all these groups, it is because of solidarity from Iran that have been able to build.
Okay, but why? What? Get to the point.
And be successful and build a mass following. And a lot of the Palestinian people are eternally grateful and look up to Iran as well as Hezbollah and other groups that are part of the Axis of Resistance. But they want to create a division. They want to, in the U.S. at least in the first world, they want to associate the Palestine solidarity movement with the blue-haired gender freaks, And
oh God, transphobia, folks. Oh, okay, transphobia and sexism. Go figure.
And all these postmodern people and divide. And this is even what groups for example, Code Pink. I'm just gonna put them on blast. You look at certain groups and they're anti-Iran. Code Pink was putting all this propaganda against Iran, saying women's revolution and we're gonna.
So supporting a legitimate protest is considered a bad thing. I thought you're supposed to support the people's right of self-determination. I guess it's only appropriate if it's supportive of your reactionary ideology. And look at this. All these people are men. All of them are fucking men. No women. No, in their stream, they're talking about fucking shit involving women. Fuck you.
And you look at some of the people who are running it and part of it, and they're kind of shady connections to Jewish Voices for Peace and to the liberal Zionist wing. And then,
oh my God, you cannot resist. Oh my God. If I could have a freaking drink, if I had little alcohol for every time I heard an anti-Semitic dog whistle, I would fucking die. I'm just losing track of all these anti-Semitic shit I'm hearing in this.
And they're pro-Palestine, and then you look at
the Code Pink is funded by the Tides Foundation, and the Tides Foundation is funded by Open Society Foundations.
Yep.
So the Open Society Foundation is run by George Soros, who's pro-Zionist, no matter what the Netanyahu.
Oh my God, George Soros, another anti-Semitic dog whistle, guys. If we could have a bingo card for every anti-Semitic dog whistle, I would probably already win the game. I should probably one day do what Danky did. And have a anti-Semitic bingo card, and just see if they would win the game.
These kind of alt-right, whatever people that they hate George Soros, he's the enemy of his. He funds liberal Zionism, and he's very pro-Zionist.
Oh my God, this is why anti-imperialism has no credibility. It's because of people like this, because every anti-imperialist movement that's mainstream is fucking anti-Semitic. This is why.
I posted an article on Basira Press from another author who's from South Africa who quoted an article I never saw before. His interview with Alexander Soros, his son, by some Israeli news outlets, Haaretz or Ynet or one of these outlets or something similar. That doesn't matter. Basically, he quoting his father saying that if you want to be a good Jew, consider migrating to the Zionist regime, to Palestine.
Oh God.
So he's very much. He went on CNN saying that the Iranian regime won't last and these other types of things. He supports regime change in Iran, supports regime change in Syria. He's on the side of the Zionist regime. Just supports having a different face for the Zionist regime. And Netanyahu and these people, they're not a monolithic group, and they're basically debating over PR and tactics. But at the end, their end goal is pretty much the same. So that's what these people's purpose is, and that's what they're being funded by. Are people who want to keep the occupation and just under a different face? Because I know we're kind of going on tangents and we missed the Twitter thread. But that ties into how the Western left is more aligned with Tel Aviv than they are with Gaza. This is what all these different things are just examples of that. This is all just proving how their ideology is in line with that which they claim to be against. They claim to be against imperialism and they claim to be for Palestine, but all their ideologies of chaos on the social side or on the political side, any which way you look at it,
it matters.
It's basically a trick. It's because we believe that the Antichrist is a system, at least at first. It may be coordinated with a physical individual that will come and preside over it, but at least for now, they haven't announced themselves. So for now, it's a system, and its symbol is a one eye. In Islamic hadith, we have a symbol that's one eye. Wahhabis might take it literally because they're literalists, but those of us who understand the real Islam know that there's things are literal when they're literal, and they're metaphorical when they're metaphorical, because it's meant to send a message to those who like Ramiro said, kind of think on that higher level. Especially because if you speak more direct, the arrogant powers would use that opportunistically, and they would try to. So if it's slightly more indirect but not so coded that nobody can understand it, it will survive through the times and it won't be able to be exploited. So we believe the Antichrist is a system and has multiple levels of keeping people away from the path of truth.
What really disgusts me is they are mixing truth with this, but it's so opportunistic. They're talking about issues of Palestine, yet they cannot resist pushing transphobia, misogyny, and anti-Semitism all in one. This is the kind of freaking channel Ewoks has become. Well, let's call them dialectics. This is what be liberal. This is who the kind of people he's in bed with. Pedophile supporters, rape apologists. These are the kind of people he's in bed with. Anyone that supports Andrew Tate is a piece of shit, as far as I'm concerned. You have nothing but my contempt.
So, for example, you have people that are dissatisfied with the mainstream society. Like, for example, in America, you have the nuclear family, which itself is an assault on the
nuclear family. You mean the typical white and Christian family? What the fuck are you talking about?
Greater family, not this idea of like this tribalistic like Tinder family where everybody just like sleeps with whoever they want and everything like that. Swipe right to the next guy, or swipe right to the next girl, and then you raise children in that way. I don't know. You share your I don't know, avocado toast with everybody or something like that. If you're upset with that society, then the justice system will have like something to catch you with, to the point, and it's even worse because you think you're anti-establishment, but you're really not.
You are not anti-establishment yourself. You're pushing things that the establishment pushes yourselves. This is bullshit. If you truly were anti-establishment, you would be a threat to the system. You really aren't. Your ideology is not that much different from the fascists that you claim to oppose.
It's like it's
Yeah, it's wild, man. Like, there's another meme. I'm gonna put up on the screen and post. I think I showed it to both of you. It's a picture of the Maoist with the catboy ears and the Maoist cap, and it's just like, I'm against the establishment, but I believe everything the Open Society and Harvard and the WEF and all these institutions tell me to believe. And it's like, if your social values and your world Open Society outlook completely match the globalists, it's because you are more inspired by Karl Popper than you are by Karl Marx.
I find that ironic, B-level. I really do find what you're saying to be ironic. And can you come up with a better insult than Wowis? Seriously. You pathetic little bitch. Come up with something better. I mean, you literally had your face. You don't even show your face to anyone. You're a fucking coward, and you're gonna insult people. And if anything, that applies more to you. You listen to other fucking people that support the mainstream, but in a different kind of way. There is literally no difference between Jimmy Dore and what he believes from Fox News. And the stuff you're pushing isn't necessarily not mainstream. It clearly is mainstream. You're a literal hypocrite.
And then again, I put them more in line with Tel Aviv than Gaza. So I think if you want to go through the story, I think it might open up. It might match to what we've been talking about.
The truth about Israel and the Western leftists have more in common with Tel Aviv than Gaza. Threat. Leftists shrivel at the thought of Palestinians using violence to defend themselves from violence they're subjected to. They want Palestinians to resist on Western leftist terms. That means condemning groups like Hamas and Hezbollah as quote unquote good for nothing.
That's not true. Real Maoists actually are the ones that support resistance by any means necessary. Third worldists support Palestinians resisting by any means necessary. Third worldists like myself support resistance by any means necessary. You, on the other end, do not. You pretend to support the Palestinian struggle, but you're using this struggle with the Palestinians as an opportunity to push your reactionary horseshit. No one's fooled, B-level. Nobody is fooled. Except your stupid, retarded little fanboys that still watch your shitty fucking podcast.
Fascists. They want to subject Palestinian resistance to procedures through quote-unquote international bodies, i.e. global law cartels. They praise the defanging of Palestinian resistance through things like the cursed Oslo Accords to turn Palestinians into yet another lifeless corpse of a victim. They can use this to win brownie points. So, Ramiro, you've talked about this recently, about how they're trying to separate Palestine from the Islamic bloc of resistance that really is a solid threat to imperialism. When you isolate it on its own, they want it to basically be confined to kids throwing rocks at tanks versus this type of action. Do you want to speak to that a little bit more?
Yeah, definitely. I mean, I think one thing I noticed, so when I lived in New York, I live in LA now, I lived in New York 20.
That is a complicated topic. When it comes to feminism, the origins of it are pretty colonial, which that's a topic I could probably discuss at a different time once I research the topic more. So until I research it more, I'm not going to really talk about, at least the merits behind feminism and also the critiques of it. So until I actually read that in depth, I'm not qualified to talk about it.
2013, I was pretty active in the Syria solidarity movement, in solidarity with President Assad and the Ba'athist movement in Syria against the Wahhabis and the Color Revolution. And what I found interesting is that in New York City, I would go to the Syria protests in defense of Assad, and with the side of the FSA, the Free Syrian Army, the Color Revolution, Wahhabi.
Supporting Assad. Yeah, safe in the first world. Want to actually go to Syria and support Assad. But no, first worldists like you would rather support Assad and everyone like him in the safety, in the comfort of the country that you currently live in. No, they don't need your fucking support. They don't even know you would fucking exist.
imperialist-backed, Israel-backed opponents of Assad, I noticed that there were a few people waving Palestine flags along with the Free Syrian Army flag. And that just really boiled my blood. I was just like, do you not understand that Iran and Syria, also along with Iran, has supported Palestinian liberation from day one? And it was very crucial.
Some people do understand. Some people did understand, though. Maybe because for myself, like coming to anti-Zionism, coming to Islam, I didn't have a good collective memory. Even like, for example, the victory of 2006 of Hezbollah against the Zionist regime, that was something that was a blur to me. Whether as because I was a child and I didn't remember, or many other factors, my childhood in general isn't so memorable. But people who grew up in Arab Muslim backgrounds, especially, that was a thing that was like that people celebrated across the world, regardless of whether they were Sunni or Shia. They recognized this, and so they realized they need to cause sectarian strife, especially around resistance. Because when you have Sunni celebrating a Shia victory over the Zionist regime, which also inspired the resistance in 2009 against Operation Cast Lead, which was also the first time that within Palestine, the Zionists were met with formidable resistance. Not as much as now. Like now, their Iron Dome is failing. They're cowering in fear. They're the Zionist regime, which has nuclear weapons, which does false flags, which has all this all these plots and everything around the world just to keep their illegitimate occupation alive. But still, it's all those things are no match to the resistance. So obviously, 2009, however many years ago that was, they weren't at that level as they are.
Again, majority what they're talking about isn't without facts. But the reason I'm showing you this because this shows you how fascists who are pushing a reactionary agenda, they mix the truth with their own reactionary bullshit. This is why the people like them are dangerous and they need to be combated more fiercely and not ignored.
Are now, but still, it was enough where they were able to hold the line. But they obviously took heavy losses, especially with the bombing of civilians. But at least the Zionist regime couldn't just like run over it like a parking lot. They were met with some resistance. But they got that inspiration from Hezbollah. And it was in fact Iran and Qasem Soleimani who were able to, through their intelligence networks, sneak into Gaza and be there among the people and teach. Several times Qasem Soleimani and several times Haji Ahmad Mounia from Hezbollah came into Palestine illegally, sneaking in. Well, not illegally because we don't recognize it as a legal entity, but not through. Obviously, they're not crossing through the border. They're sneaking through using very masterful infiltration tactics and then getting into Gaza that way and spending time with the resistance there. So they're collected. They knew. Maybe someone like me, I didn't know I had to get up to speed, and that's why maybe at some times many years ago, maybe 2015, 2014, I didn't have the maturity to be able to face some of these people's arguments. But they
I got one question for any of all these jokers in this podcast, because I know this is a clip. Have you done what Dr. Weizfeld has done, or Abby Martin, and actually gone to Palestine? No? Then you don't know anything. You want to talk about, I support the Palestinian struggle. Yeah. And condemn any other group, but you have never actually gone there. In fact, speaking of which, where's your support for Weizfeld? Oh, wait, because he's Jewish and he doesn't support your bullshit. So we're not going to show solidarity to Dr. Weizfeld. Yeah, this stream has not forgotten Weizfeld. It hasn't. It has everything to do with it. Because you have actual real anti-imperialists that actually been to Palestine, that have resisted the Zionist lobby and Canada and America. Yet where is their support for them? What was their support for Abby Martin? I would really like to know. Of course, silence because Abby Martin doesn't fucking support their bullshit.
They know these things, but they put it aside. If they're Wahhabi, they put it aside for their sectarianism, meaning they prefer their sectarian Roxer Reigns worldview above the truth. Or if they're more of these like liberal humanists, they put their Karl Popper, he has a bad name that's hard to pronounce, Karl Popper ideology above the truth. Or were they even really with the truth in the first place? Maybe they pulled like a big Mehdi Hassan and both sides, the 2006 war, both sides, the 2009
a lot of people in the Americas just are not really well informed about the Middle East. A lot of people in general, and that's not to be like arrogant on my part. I still have a lot to learn myself, but I feel like a lot of people, especially with the Syria or Iran, like especially recently with the Iran protests, like a lot of the people who are pro Cuba, Venezuela, Nicaragua, and they're like all about that. They're like, I don't know, Iran. There's both sides that are like they were doing that whole nonsense, and I'm like a lot of them just didn't really understand what was going on. But no, it's a great point, man. And I think for me, like right now, the Palestinian liberation issue is front and center.
How dare you bring up the Palestinian liberation when you're pushing bullshit like this? When you're being an apologist for autocratic regimes, when you're being fucking transphobic. No, this is pure opportunism. If you truly supported the Palestinian struggle, you'd just be talking about that. You wouldn't be fucking talking about Andrew Tate or defending people like him. I'm not letting that one go. I will not.
And I feel like people like Noam Chomsky, people like Norman Finkelstein, and others are in a way like controlled opposition to kind of limit the debate on Palestine to just two-state solution, or to limit it to liberalism, or to whatever it is.
Or like a regional conflict versus
right.
It's world significant.
Right. And also to by no matter what, they don't want Palestine and Iran and the axis of resistance to unite. That is their number one.
There's people like Steve Struggle and Dr. Weizfeld that don't support the stuff that you're talking about. Why aren't those people ever brought up? Why? Oh, because you're anti-Semitic and you're anti-black. That's why.
One fear, like to cut off Hezbollah, Iran, Ansar Allah, the forces of resistance in Iraq as well, the mobilization forces, to not in any way unite with the Palestinian liberation movement. And I see this, they do this through many ways, right? They do this through people like Norman Finkelstein, Noam Chomsky, the liberal route. Then they have the Wahhabis, they're people who promote stated pro-Palestine, but then they're repeating imperialist talking points.
No, still no mention of Dr. Weizfeld or Abby Martin.
About Iran and stuff like that in Syria. Then they do it through their blue-haired postmodern gender people who are pro-Palestine, but then they're like,
they don't want this to be the face of Palestinian resistance.
More transphobia.
They want it to be like, let's hold hands and
yeah.
No
that's perfect for the Zionist regime, because
you don't support them fighting against Israel violently. Come on, you were using this as an excuse to push your reactionary agenda. You do know some of those fighters have read the little red book, right? The very thing that you guys call liberalism, a liberal book.
Because if the Zionist regime doesn't have a military equal, then they can continue their occupation. As simple as that. Going back to what the story you were telling about the Syria protests in New York and your work there, to help maybe get you back to the story. Yes, there.
I've heard enough. I think we've all heard enough about dialectics on hands. Like, damn, this is some reactionary shit. Fuck. They're just so. This was a. I'm just gonna say this. I'm just gonna say it. Because. For those of you who are watching, who are, I don't know if it's after the fact. For those of you who in Arizona, those I let down, I am so sorry for not continuing this thing with B-level. This B-level should have been destroyed. I mean, watching that was difficult for me to watch, because it's like I worked with that I actually collaborated with that fucker. I mean, the transphobia, the anti-Semitism, but then again, none of this is new. No mention of Dr. Weizfeld. In fact, there's nothing on Dr. Weizfeld on B-Level's channel. Nothing. In fact, you know what? I'm going to double check, but I wouldn't be shocked if there isn't. And I bring up Dr. Weizfeld because it's important that we actually talk about Dr. Weizfeld. It's important that we actually spread the word about him, because he's been arrested. And I know I'll probably have this used against me. I was just using the Dr. Weizfeld thing to go after, B-Level. But it's the truth. Oh my God. What the fuck? Oh my God. Oh my God. Okay, I'm sorry. I'm just taking a look. Oh my God. Holy shit. These thumbnails suck. I remember. Okay, I'm just going to show. You know what? Might as well. Abby Martin, just type Empire Files and you'll find her you'll find her videos. Oh my God. These thumbnails, I remember when B-Level did badass thumbnails. These suck. It's like, holy crap, these suck. Holy shit, these suck. Yeah. Oh my god, these suck. Oh my god. Holy shit, this sucks. Anyway, that's enough about B-level, because I gotta get back to the topic at hand. The only reason I went to the B-level thing because of Palestine and Zionism, and it's not unrelated to what's going on with Dr. Weizfeld. The reactionary forces are terrified of people like him. And any video that talks about Dr. Weizfeld needs to be spread like wildfire. Any video that talks about him and reports anything about him needs to spread his videos. When Dr. Weizfeld, if he gets out of prison, or if he, whatever, spread that video too. I can't do this alone. I'm one person. Everyone that is an enemy of fascism is Fantifa, as far as I'm concerned. Fantifa should have been resurrected sooner. Fantifa should have been a thing sooner. I failed the people of Arizona. I failed those teenagers that died. And I will not sugarcoat that. I failed them. I failed them. And I will never be a coward again. Me not confronting B-level, not continuing to do the thing with B-level, not actually pushing harder on B-level was a mistake. And I see that now. I see the errors of my ways. And those who are pissed off that I did not do that, continue to denouncing B-level and continue to be vigilant, you have every right to be pissed off at me. You have every right to be pissed. Because what I saw was anti-Semitism being pushed to push anti-imperialism. B-level is just muddying the waters. He's doing the same opportunist shit that Jimmy Dore is doing, Chris Hedges is doing, along with his little fascist buddies. I am disgusted. I am really disgusted now that MRN did not keep its promise about dealing with B-level. I'm very disgusted. And I'm disgusted with myself most of all for ignoring B-level and allowing him to continue to do what he wants. He's literally fucking muddying the waters of anti-Zionism. This has everything to do with what's happening with Dr. Weizfeld, because people like him who are actually fighting against the imperialists, who've actually been shot by the Zionists, who actually have been slandered by these people, who's been arrested. He is the one that is truly the anti-imperialists, not these fucking dipshits, these LARPers on the internet. Who, I'm going to support Assad. Yeah, safely in your first world fucking country. Or spreading misinformation about 9/11 truth, basically stripping anything about 9/11, anything that made the fucking theory credible of 9/11 truth by adding a mixture of anti-Semitism. B-level isn't just a fucking reactionary. He's just a fucking fascist. If there's the biggest mistake I've made ever in my career so far is ignoring B-level. Denounce B level, denounce B level, down with B level, down with B level, down with B level. And to end this stream, I have a message, and I don't know if Dr. Weizfeld can see this. My heart's with you, Dr. Weizfeld. And those who support Dr. Weizfeld, my heart is with you. Spread this video. Spread any video that has anything to do with what's going on with Dr. Weizfeld. Do not ignore it. And whatever you do not ignore B-level either. Be vigilant. That fucker should not be allowed to spread his bullshit unopposed. Denounce B-level. Denounce B-level. Free Dr. Weizfeld. Down with Zionism.